Welcome back to Storybook Crochet. In today's video we are going to be making the pumpkin ice cream cone. So for this pattern you're going to need some yarn, and I'm using the weight 5 bulky yarn, but you can also use a worsted yarn. You just want to use a smaller hook if you decide to use that size yarn. So you're going to need the colors for the cone, which is like a beige or tan, and orange for the pumpkin ice cream part, green for the leaf and the vine, and then you're going to need a small amount of white and pink, and then I am using 20mm safety eyes. You're also going to need a 4mm hook, and this is a US size hook. You're going to need a stitch marker, a yarn needle, and some scissors, and also some Fiberfill to stuff it. So go ahead and grab all your supplies and we will get started. Alright, we are going to start by making the cone. So to start this, we're going to start with a magic ring, and in this magic ring we're going to make 6 single crochets. Okay, when you're done with those 6, just go ahead and close that opening. Okay, at this point I'm going to grab my stitch marker and I put it in the last stitch that I make of each round. Alright, moving on to round number 2, we're going to start out with 1 single crochet in the first stitch. Okay, and in the second stitch we're going to increase, so we're going to put 2 single crochets in that same stitch. Alright, so that's 1 single crochet in the first stitch, increase in the second stitch, and then we're going to repeat that 2 more times. Okay, so after you get that last stitch done, you can just kind of pop the end of the cone out the tip of the cone. Grab your stitch marker. Alright, and moving on to round number 3, we're just going to put 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So this will be a total of 9 single crochets. For round 4, we're going to start with 2 single crochets, 1 in each of the first 2 stitches. So 1 single crochet, and then 2 single crochet, and then increase in that third stitch. And you'll repeat that around 2 more times. So 2 single crochets and increase. And then for round number 5, again, we're going to just single crochet around. So 1 single crochet in each stitch, giving us a total of 12 single crochets after round number 5. Okay, moving on to round number 6, we're going to make 3 single crochets, and then we'll increase in the 4th stitch. And then you'll repeat that around 2 more times. And then round 7, again, we're going to just single crochet around, so 1 in each stitch. So after round 7, you will have a total of 15 single crochets made. round number 8, we're going to do 4 single crochets and then increase in that 5th stitch. Once you get that first set done, repeat that 2 more times. And then for round number 9, you're just going to single crochet around again. So after round 9, you'll have a total of 18 single crochets made. Moving on to round 10, we're this time going to do 5 single crochets and then increase in that 6th stitch. And then at this point, you know the drill. Go ahead and do that 2 more times around until you get to the end of round 10. And round 11, we're going to single crochet around again. So at the end of this round, you will have a total of 21 single crochets. After this, we will only have 1 more set of increase rounds to go. Okay, so for round 12, this is our last increase round. This time we're going to make 6 single crochets and then increase in that 7th stitch. And then just repeat that 2 more times around. Okay, and round number 13 is our very last round. We're just going to single crochet 1 in each stitch around. So at the end of this round, you have a total of 24 single crochets made. Alright, so we are finished with the cone, so we're going to go ahead and slip stitch in this first stitch here, or this next stitch here, and finish that off. So make your slip stitch, kind of pull that out a little bit, and then we're going to cut a longer tail here so that we can use that to sew on the top of the ice cream. Okay, pull that tight, and we're going to go ahead and just set that aside and grab your orange yarn, and we'll get started with the top of the ice cream. Alright, so let's go ahead and make our ice cream scoop, which will be in this pumpkin orange. So we're going to again start out with a magic ring, and in this magic ring we will make 6 single crochets. Alright, once you have your 6 made, go ahead and pull that closed and grab your stitch marker. Alright, moving on to round number 2. This time we're going to put 2 single crochets or an increase in each stitch. So go into that first stitch there and make 2 single crochets. And then you'll repeat that all the way around. So after round number 2, you're going to have 12 single crochets made. Okay, so for round number 3, we're going to start with 1 single crochet in the first stitch and then increase in the second stitch. So again, that's 1 single crochet and then increase, and you're going to repeat that pattern around 6 times. So at the end of round 3, you'll have 18 single crochets made. Alright, moving on to round number 4. This time we're going to put 2 single crochets, so 1, 2, and then increase in the third stitch. So again, that's a 1 single crochet in each of the first 2 stitches here, and then increase in that third. And again, you just will repeat this around 6 times. Round number 5 is going to be our last increase round, and this time we're going to put 3 single crochets and then increase in that 4th stitch. So at the end of round number 5, you should have a total of 30 single crochets made. Okay, at this point for rounds number 6 through 10, you're going to go ahead and just put 1 single crochet in each stitch around. And this will kind of just build up the sides here of our ice cream. So again, that's rounds 6 through 10, 1 single crochet in each stitch around. I will meet you at the end of round 10, and then we'll just have 2 more rounds to go to finish off our ice cream scoop. Alright, so we are at the end of round number 10, and this is what your ice cream scoop should look like so far. So we've got 2 more rounds to go. So this time we're going to do a decrease round. For round number 11, we're going to start out with 3 single crochets. So 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to decrease. And I do my decreases in the front loop only. So instead of going through both loops like normal, you're just going to come up under that very first loop there. You're going to pull your yarn through. Then you're going to go up through the next front loop, pull your yarn through. You're going to have 3 loops on your hook at this point. You're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So we turn those 2 stitches into 1. Okay, and you're just going to repeat that around. So 3 single crochets, and then I'll show you that decrease one more time. Okay, so we did our 3 single crochets. Now we're going to go in that front loop, yarn over and pull it through. Go in the next front loop, pull our yarn over and pull it through. We have our 3 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Okay, so there's our second decrease. So you're going to repeat that around for a total of 6 times. So again, that's 3 single crochets and then decrease. Okay, for our last round, we're going to make this kind of scalloped edge here for the very bottom of our scoop of ice cream. So to do that, we're going to be working in that front loop only. So like I showed you with the decreases, you're just going to go under that first loop of each stitch, and you'll do that with every stitch all the way around. So in our first stitch here, we're going to make 4 single crochets all in that one stitch. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and that kind of makes that first little scallop there. And then you're going to just go into that next front loop and you're going to make a slip stitch. So just pull your yarn through and then pull it through your stitch. Okay, so that makes our first little scallop, and then we're going to repeat that all the way around. So in the next stitch, you're going to put 4 single crochets. Okay, and then after those 4, you're going to go into the next stitch and make your slip stitch. Just remember that to do that all in the front loop only, because we're going to use the back loops to sew it onto our ice cream cone at the end. Okay, so go ahead and finish all your scallops all the way around, and then we'll meet back at the end. Alright, so now that we have our scoop finished, we're going to go ahead and just finish that off. So go into that next stitch there and just make your slip stitch. Alright, and you don't need a long tail for this. We're just going to go ahead and weave that in. So cut that, and then grab your yarn needle. Okay, and I just kind of go through this first scallop right here and kind of get it up to that that last main row there, and just weave that through a couple times. And cut that off. Okay, so our ice cream scoop is done. So we're going to go ahead and make the leaves, vines, and vine and the stem next, and then we'll go ahead and sew and assemble the whole thing at the very end. Before we move on to make the stem, I was just going to ask real quick, what is your favorite Halloween treat or fall treat that you like each season? Go ahead and put that answer in the comments below. I'd love to see your answers. Okay, to make the stem, we're going to use the same color that we used to make our cone. So go ahead and grab that, and we're going to start out with a magic ring. And in this magic ring, we're going to make 6 single crochets. Okay, once you have those 6 made, go ahead and pull that closed. And then grab your stitch marker if you need one. For round number 2, we're going to work in the back loop only. So far we've only worked in the front loops only, or with both loops. So this time, instead of going under that first one, we're going to go under the very back one. So you'll just have that one loop on your hook. And we're going to just single crochet around. So 1 single crochet in each stitch. Just make sure you're only using that back loop for this round. Okay, once you have that made, you can kind of pop that out. Should look like this, and it kind of leaves those front loops exposed there, so it kind of pops that out a little bit. Kind of makes a nice little edge. Alright, so for our very last round for the stem, you're just going to single crochet around, 1 in each stitch. So that'll give you, again, a total of 6 single crochets. Alright, once you have that last one made, just go ahead and slip stitch into that very next stitch. And you will want to cut a little bit longer of a tail this time, as we will sew this on the top of our ice cream scoop. And then also that short tail in the middle there, I just go ahead and snip that off so it's out of the way. Okay, so let's go ahead and set that aside and grab your green yarn, and we'll make the leaf and the stem next. Alright, we're going to go ahead and start with the leaf. So to do the leaf, we're going to start by chaining 4. Alright, once you have your 4 chains made in that next chain here, from the second chain from the hook, we're going to start out by making a slip stitch. So just go in that first loop there and make a slip stitch. Okay, in our next chain, we're going to make a single crochet. Okay, so that's slip stitch, single crochet. In the last chain here, we're going to make 4 half double crochets. So go ahead and yarn over, insert your hook, pull through, and then you're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 to make your half double crochet. I'll show you that again. So yarn over, insert your hook, and pull up your loop. You'll have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, and then pull through all 3. So make sure you have a total of 4 half double crochets in this last chain here. Alright, so now we're going to work on the opposite side of the chain, and that just means just continue to go around the chain. So we worked on one side, now we're going to work on the other side of it. So in that next chain here, we're going to make a single crochet. Okay, and then our last stitch here, we're just going to go to that last one and make another slip stitch. And that finishes off the leaf. Okay, so go ahead again and cut a little bit longer of a tail, as we'll use that to sew it on. And then you'll want to weave in that smaller end so it's out of the way. All right, for our last piece here, we're going to go ahead and chain 16 for the vine. So go ahead and make your slip knot here and do a chain of 16. Okay, once you have your 16 made, we're just going to work across the chain, and we're going to make an increase in each chain. So in this first one here, you're going to make 2 single crochets. And then you're just going to do that same thing in every chain across. And this will kind of make that curly Q look that we're wanting for the vine. So again, just increase across, and I'll meet you at the end and we'll finish that off. Okay, so go ahead and just finish off that vine and weave in that short end so it's out of your way. So at this point we have everything made, so we're going to go ahead and grab our ice cream scoop and our eyes, and we're going to put those 3 rows up from the scallop. So 1, 2, 3. Go ahead and insert your first eye, and then I put mine about 5 stitches, that's about 4 stitches apart. So you can count 1, 2, 3, and 4 in between. So go ahead and add your eyes and then put the backs on. Okay. Alright, so that's done. So at this point I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of the face details. So go ahead and grab your white, and then we'll just line the eyes. I just think it gives them a little bit more character when you add the lining to the eyes like that. So I just come up through the ice cream scoop and up to the top, very top of each eye, and then come down, not all the way to the bottom, but kind of to the side here, and then stitch that first eye, and then do the exact same with the second eye. Okay, once you have both of those lined, I just go ahead and tie off the 2 ends. Just makes it easier that way than weaving them in. So go ahead and tie those off, and then I just stuff the rest of that yarn inside of the scoop here. Alright, so next, if you want to make the little pink cheeks here, go ahead and grab your pink yarn, and we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to come underneath the eye this time. Okay, so I just come 1 row underneath, like directly underneath the eye. And then I just come over like 2 stitches and then come back down through the scoop there to make that cheek there. And then just do the same thing for the other side. Alright, so that's that finished. So go ahead and tie that off, and then you're going to go ahead and want to stuff this and the cone firmly with your Fiberfill. Alright, so you should have them stuffed by now, so let's go ahead and sew them together. So you're going to go ahead and grab your needle and go ahead and thread your cone tail here. And then you're just going to match them up, and you might kind of have to push the Fiberfill out of the way a little bit. So we're going to use those back loops that we left unworked on the last round of the scoop. So you're going to grab your back loop and then come up through the next loop of the cone here and just pull that through. Okay, and you're just going to repeat that around. So go through the next back loop and up through the next stitch on the cone here. And you're just going to do that all the way around until it's completely attached. Once you get to the end, if you feel like you need to add more Fiberfill, go ahead and do that before you close, after you have like 5 or 6 stitches left to close. Fill it all the way, and then you can go ahead and close that off. So I will meet you back at the end of that, and I'll show you how to weave in the ends of that, and then we will add the top part of our ice cream. Alright, now that we have it all sewn on, we're just going to come up through the next stitch there on the cone and just weave that in a few times. Okay, and then when you're done with that, cut that off And next we'll go ahead and grab the stem. I don't stuff mine just because I feel like it's small enough you don't really need to, but if you feel like you want to add some stuffing, go ahead and do that now. And then we'll get that sewn on. So you're going to sew this right over that very first round of the scoop that we made. So it fits perfectly over that first round. So you're just going to come up through the scoop there and then up through the next that same stitch on the stem and sew that all the way around. Okay, when you're finished with that, weave in those ends and then we'll sew on the leaf and the vine last. Alright, so there's our stem sewn on. So go ahead and grab your vine next, and I just sew it to the very side here, and I kind of pull on this too to kind of pull out those curls there. It just makes it look a little bit longer. So go ahead and stitch that on or sew that on. I just come up to the very top of the vine here on one side, and then I come up to the other side, opposite side that you just did, and just make one more stitch in there just to make sure it's good and tight on there. Okay, and then I just weave my end through the vine here. I go up once and then I go back again just to make sure that's good and weaved in. Okay, so do that and then snip your yarn there. Alright, and that's what that should look like. Okay, and the last thing we're going to do is sew on the leaf. So grab your yarn from that. And then I just kind of sew it right in front of the vine there. So you're just going to do the exact same thing you did with the vine. And then I just weave that in kind of through to the back of the leaf, and then come back through one more time. And cut that off, and we are finished. Alright, so we have made our pumpkin ice cream cone. This is the first ice cream cone we're going to make in this series. There's going to be 2 more. So we're going to make a ghost and a witch ice cream cone. So you'll want to make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification button. That will tell you as soon as I have a new video up, if you don't want to miss those, so you can make all 3 of the Halloween ice cream cones. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button, and I will see you in the next video.